Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Breakthrough Bestie podcast. I am your host, Angela Brock, and we are continuing the series on invisible money leaks. So, listen, if you haven't seen any of the previous videos, I encourage you to go back and watch them because today we're actually going to talk about why awareness alone does not automatically change your behavior. So, let's just get into it. I'm going to get a lot of flack for this because I know for a fact that it is not the big financial decisions that shape your future. You know, buying a house, changing your jobs, making major investments, while those things contribute to your future, your financial direction in your life are not shaped by big decisions. They're actually shaped by the small ones, the ones that you don't be thinking about, the ones that feel harmless, that feel normal. It's those small decisions that you repeat on a consistent basis. Those right there, they become your financial trajectory. Again, not the big ones, but the repeated ones. I want you to think about your day to day financial choices. I want you to think about the coffee, the quick online orders, the upgraded conveniences, the I'll just handle it this way for now. None of those decisions feel significant. And honestly, in the moment, they don't even feel like they're shaping your financial future, right? They don't feel irresponsible. They don't feel life altering. But let me tell you, when they are repeated, that repetition is powerful because repetition is what creates patterns. And patterns determine the direction, not the intensity or even the amount, right? Those large investments, it's the consistency. That is what shapes your financial future. This is why two women who can earn the same amount of money but experience completely different outcomes over time. It ain't because one is more intelligent than the other. It's not even about discipline. It's about repeated direction. One woman's small decisions consistently build margin, whereas the other woman's small decision consistently maintains her current lifestyle. Neither one are reckless. One builds, the other one maintains. And over years, the difference compounds. Imagine flying from Houston to New York, right? If the plane leaves 1 degree off course, you won't notice it immediately. Everything feels normal, but over time, that small degree creates completely different destination. Make sense? This gradual change doesn't happen instantly. Your financial life works the exact same way. These small decisions don't feel dramatic, right? But when they are repeated consistently, they determine where you end up. Not because of one big mistake, not even because of one big purchase, but because of small, steady direction. And this is where buffer begins to matter, right? Buffer is not about just savings, right? It's about creating a margin, giving yourself some space, some room to breathe, some room to adjust, some room to build. Small decisions either create margin or they eliminate it altogether. Most women are they're not making reckless decisions, right? When you look at the things that you've done, there may have been something where you're just like, I'm a splurge here or there, right? Those types of things you can recover from, honestly, right? If you discipline and you buckle down, you can recover from those types of decisions. What I'm talking about right now is those small decisions that quietly move the margin. And when the margin disappear, every month starts to feel just a little tighter than it should. Not because the income wasn't enough, but because the margin hasn't been protected enough, right? You weren't intentional with your margins um, and protecting them and making sure that they supported the life and the decisions that you were making financially. And this is why it can feel like I make good money, but I don't feel ahead, right? It's because ahead requires bigger margins. Margins require buffer, and a buffer is built through small, consistent decisions. Again, not the big dramatic ones. What do I mean by that? A big dramatic decision is deciding to take $1,000 and putting it into a savings account. That is going to create some margin, right? And it will last for however long it stays in your savings account. If you put it in a high yield savings account, that money will grow and it'll compound with interest, right? And as long as you don't touch the money, It's fine. Your buffer is there, right? But imagine though, if you were to be intentional and gradually over time repeat a deposit, let's say a $500 deposit or $100 deposit consistently every time you got paid. If this repeated every single paycheck, every single month, every single year for 10 years, whether that was in a regular savings account or even a high yield savings account, right? That margin is now larger. You have a bigger buffer. Make sense? It doesn't mean that making the larger deposit of $1,000 isn't smarter than the $100. It's because one decision created margin intentionally. That margin then built stability, and that stability allowed you to build some expansion. So I want you to ask yourself this question honestly. Where have small decisions been quietly shaping my financial direction? Where have I been maintaining instead of building without even realizing it? It is these small decisions that don't just affect this week, right? They determine long term direction, whether it's intentional or not. This isn't, again, about being restrictive, right? Because that money, whether it is $1,000, $500, $100, right? It's got to come from somewhere. But what I want you to take away from this is whatever the amount is, it is the repeated intentionality that is going to compound, right? If you stop dismissing them as harmless decisions and things that don't necessarily matter, then you could start directing how you spend your money, right? You're not obsessing over it, you're directing it. You are the chief financial officer of the capital that you are stewarding, right? And you should be directing where it goes. And this is where buffer begins to form, not through, again, big dramatic changes, but through the small, consistent ones. Once you understand how small decisions determine your direction, then you'll begin to notice how easy it is to drift without even realizing it. And it's not because you failed at something, but just because the drift is quiet, right? And most people, again, like the airplane, you don't see it until you realize that your destination is off course or you are off course from your destination. And sometimes financially, you don't see that you have drifted until years later, right? Here's your anchor. Big decisions get attention. Small decisions determine direction. And you have to decide if direction for you matters more and how impactful that will be for your financial future. So, if this has helped you see your money differently, I want you to subscribe and honestly share this with someone else who could benefit from these videos because you want to continue building the habits that lead to real financial wealth. Remember these two things. One, breakthrough starts when you take control. And then two, wealth is not built by accident, it is built by the decisions that you make today. I'll see you next time.